We've got an active week of weather ahead with storms from the central to the eastern United States with multiple rounds of them, in fact, coming as the week goes on. In this video, I've got the details on those storm systems from the flooding to the severe weather aspects of them, and then we'll also discuss the temperatures and the overall pattern ahead. So stick around right here.
One Nation Weather.
As always, I appreciate you being here with me. Don't forget, as always, that you can check out the WeatherBell trial link down there in the description for a free trial to the same model maps that I use to predict the weather. Also, please hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and enjoy this forecast. No matter whether you've been with me for a long time or not, you can definitely leave me a comment down below telling me what your weather has been lately. Now let's get right into it. Now, looking at the future radar here, as we head into the early part of this week, we've got a storm system, not a strong one, but at least an area of low pressure that we're going to be watching centered over Kansas and Missouri here as we head through Monday, May 13th of 2024. This is around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Showers and storms focused really in two zones. We're going to be watching from Kansas into parts of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. And then where we could be seeing a little bit more severe weather out of some of these storms, that's going to be from parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and even into southern Alabama and Georgia and North Florida throughout the day. Overall, the system pretty weak, but it is an upper-level entity, so we're going to be watching the overall energy continue to spread eastward into the eastern United States here as we head towards our Tuesday, May 14th. In the morning, we could already have some showers and storms ongoing over Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Florida. A few of these could be stronger throughout the day in this region as well, as this low continues wrapping around through the Ohio Valley into the late Tuesday, early Wednesday time frame. Once we get towards Wednesday in the morning hours, we're going to be watching a lot of this coverage begin to shift towards primarily the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, with just some scattered showers and storms. There's not really going to be a consistent period of very heavy rain in a lot of areas out of this system unless you're closer to the Gulf Coast. But nonetheless, you can see how we'll get even another round of some afternoon showers and storms in the east Wednesday afternoon from that system. Meanwhile, this area then circling back on off towards the west will be our next area of concern here as we head towards, say, late Wednesday, May 15th into early Thursday, especially on down there towards parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, western Texas, where some severe showers and thunderstorms might get going in at least isolated fashion later in the day. We'll break down the severe weather day by day in a little bit more detail here momentarily. But you can see here as we head towards Thursday in the later afternoon, it's overall becoming a little more uncertain on the models between the European, one of the models we use, and the GFS, one of the models we use. Exactly where this is going to be set on up as we head towards late Thursday, but overall expect some scattered showers and storms from a broad corridor from the Midwest down to the south central United States and the southern plains. The European model, by the time we head towards late Friday, May 17th, has a pretty big corridor with some low pressure areas along it from southern Canada down to Illinois, down to Louisiana. This is kind of a rogue run. We haven't really seen this trend on many other previous European model runs, and really this system and what could go out of these multiple systems possibly that are combining together into one as we head towards the end of the week. It's remaining on the uncertain side. The GFS has everything moving eastward much faster, so just be prepared anywhere from the Midwest to the East Coast for potentially some precipitation to kick off the weekend. It's a little uncertain exactly where that's going to be, but what these ensembles are going to do is help us figure that out. Ensembles, they're a collection of models here. We've got about 50 in the European, 50 in the GFS, averaged out to show us where the heaviest precipitation will likely be, and you can see that's likely over parts in the Midwest here as we head towards Tuesday, May 14th in the early morning. This is your European model and its collective ensemble members, showing that we'll likely pick up about a half an inch of rain over the course of 6 hours as we head towards early Tuesday morning, so some heavier rain up there in the Midwest. We'll also be watching these overall pockets of rain that are going to be embedded, especially closer to the Gulf Coast, late Monday going into early Tuesday. Some of that will bring some severe weather from eastern Texas, eventually towards Georgia and the Carolinas Tuesday. This is that system that's going to be breaking up over the east, and I don't want to focus on it for too long here, but you can definitely see as we head towards Wednesday, May 15th, still some shower coverage during the early part of the day, some modest rain rates of, you're picking up maybe half an inch over the course of 6 hours. That's what this is looking at here, how heavy the rain is, and really wherever you see the greens, the deeper greens, and the blues, that's where these models are not only picking up on some of the heavier rain, but overall higher certainty that it is going to be raining. You can see here in at least this slightly gray area here from the upper Midwest where these ensembles are having slight confidence in some precipitation late Thursday, back down to where it looks a lot stormier in the afternoon Thursday here into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. We're going to have that front that I just drew out stretched on out here over the central plains. That continues to head east by the time we head towards our Friday, May 17th, and again, it looks like the second system that we're seeing, or the combination of systems that this could be, connected to that upper level entity that you can see there sitting over North Dakota. Looks like the heaviest rain later this week as well is going to be over parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, a lot of these same areas. That could increase our flood risk. We'll look at those rain totals here in a moment as well. Then you can notice whatever is left out of this system really pushing towards parts of the East Coast, the Gulf Coast. According to this collection of models here that goes into this ensemble run, over parts of the East Coast, the Gulf Coast. That's where you can see some of those darker grays, those greens, indicating the higher certainty and at least some moderate rainfall out of whatever's left of that second system as we head towards the end of the week. So again, it's a little TBD with that. And here's what's going on with that system. We're just going to focus on the secondary system with our GFS or American Model Ensemble collection here. You can see as we head towards Thursday, late Wednesday, May 15th into the early morning hours here of our Thursday, May 16th, looking like the heaviest rainfall again focused over the south central plains, maybe some heavier pockets on up there in the upper Midwest with some isolated storms up there as well during that time frame heading Wednesday and into Thursday. By the time we head towards Friday, again, the overall consensus on where the heaviest precipitation and where the most precipitation will be, that is pretty much down there in the south central United States, heading through parts of the Tennessee Valley, the southern Ohio Valley, and in the southeast Gulf Coast region, all those little zones there. That's where the GFS members are really showing some of the heaviest rain continuing. By the time we head towards this upcoming weekend, of course, the all-important weekend here, May 18th, our Saturday, people trying to get outside. We're in the middle of the spring, heading towards the summer. Obviously, a lot more activities going on the weekends. Still looking at some showers and storms, and not too uncommon for this time of the year, especially in the southeastern United States. And that's something that the European Ensembles, a collection of models, was showing. So overall, between the two collections, there's not as much discrepancy there. So we'll kind of have to see how things shape up towards the end of the week, but be prepared for multiple systems. This is number one with your precipitation tracker. You can see the total precipitation according to the Weather Prediction Center over this area just through the rain Monday and Tuesday into early Wednesday here from parts of Texas to the Carolinas, around 1 to 3 inches in a broad sense, but from there in southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, far western Florida, and southwest Georgia, some of these spots picking up closer to 4 to 8 inches of rain at the higher end. Something that will certainly cause some flooding. Could even see some isolated flooding on up here over parts of the Midwest, especially where you see some of those heavier totals being expected to speckle in over Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Notice places like Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky kind of in the middle ground and not expected to see as much flooding out of that system. Notice the totals we tack on here towards the end of the week, obviously, as we go with that storm coverage, probably Thursday heading into Friday here, coming out of the south central plains towards the Mississippi Valley. That could create some flooding as some additional, 1+ inch totals get going in some areas. We'll also be watching an additional maybe 2 inches or more of some rainfall Friday going into Saturday, maybe even Sunday here at the end of the week, from parts of East Texas down through parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and into the Carolinas. So that's something we'll be watching then. By the way, also notice we'll at least get some rain as the week goes on, even over the northern tier of the United States, a lot of quarter-half-inch totals. That area I just circled here in parts of the mid-Atlantic. Over the course of the whole week, out of system number 1 around the midweek time frame, out of system number 2 as we head towards the weekend, a couple inches of rain. So not really a flood threat, but at least some heavier rainfall. Now here we go. Let's talk about severe weather on my ONW severe scale. It goes from 0 to 7. We're looking at a 3 in a broad sense from parts of eastern Texas down to southwest Georgia and western Florida here as we head for our Monday, May 13th, with multiple rounds of storms creating flooding and severe weather potential over the region. There could be the potential for a couple of MCSs, that's just a mesoscale convective system developing, and if we get a couple of those, we'll especially see elevated wind, hail, and tornado potential. I want everybody down there to be alert, especially in case I upgrade the risk. I would do that in the community post part of the channel, so make sure you're staying tuned there, subscribing to the channel so you see that. By the way, as we head towards our Tuesday, May 14th, looking like the risk will be pretty broad, but at least isolated severe weather over the southeast at that point. And then if we're going to continue to see isolated severe weather this week, it's obviously out of that second system that's going to begin really late Wednesday into Wednesday night here over the south central plains, where I think isolated severe weather will be possible from southern Nebraska, coming off the Front Range in Colorado down there to parts of southwest Texas. As we go into Thursday, isolated risk for severe weather look to persist into maybe parts of at least Oklahoma, southwest Arkansas, western Louisiana, parts of Texas. Then by the time we head towards Friday, if we are still seeing some severe weather then, which it at least looks like some heavy rainfall, some flooding, and some severe weather will be possible on Friday, that's going to persist into parts of Texas, all the way in over there to maybe Georgia and South Carolina. Again, I want you to keep in mind that areas in each state's shaded color are in the highest risk that I see for isolated severe storms. Doesn't mean we're not going to see severe weather elsewhere. Doesn't mean the risks won't get upgraded within these individual zones. Does not mean we won't see severe weather beyond Wednesday through Friday. It's just a graphic to kind of show you what is going on in terms of the overall highest potential day by day as we head towards the end of the week because of the low certainty there. By the way, talking temperatures now, the area I just circled here as we head towards Monday, May 13th of 2024, we're looking at a lot of 50s, some low 60s to kick off the day here for our Monday, May 13th, especially over the Mississippi River Valley, the southern central United States. This is going to be a big trend as we head through this week. I'm circling the whole country for overall yellows, oranges, some reds filling on in on the map. The closer you go to the Mexico border, that's where it's going to be the hottest as we head towards the Monday afternoon time frame in these areas south of where I'm drawing the line. That's where you're going to be near the 90s in a lot of areas. And if you're in parts of California, obviously some of the lower valleys getting in on some of the warmer conditions. Tuesday, May 14th of 2024. Look at that. Sounds similar to what we saw Monday, right? A lot of 50s and 60s here over parts of the Mississippi Valley, heading to the Ohio Valley. It's really just going to be a repeat pattern with temperatures as we head through this week overall. You know, some record warm lows down there in Florida where we'll be waking up to upper 70s in some cases here. Muggy. Summer-like warmth going down there in Florida Tuesday morning to start the day. Some record highs possible where the boxes are in the afternoon there in Florida as well. A lot of the zone I just circled there in the south central United States in at least the low 80s, maybe progressing towards the mid 80s Tuesday, May 14th. And again, Florida, you know, pushing towards the 90s. It's going to be a muggy, nasty week in Florida, to be quite honest with you, especially the further south you go where you're not going to have the thunderstorm chances as much to kind of get rid of some of the worst of the heat, although, of course, the humidity increases with that anyway. Here we go towards Wednesday, May 15th, circling an area where, again, some 50s, some 60s to start the day. As we head into the afternoon, a broad corridor here over a lot of the southern United States, some of these zones in the southeast as well, warming up as the day goes on and that first system departs. A lot of 80s there. And then, of course, hot spots for temperatures there in central California there, away from the coast, but also not in the mountains yet. And then, of course, down there in southern Nevada, parts of southwestern Arizona, some spots cracking 100. On up here in the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, a lot of 70s, a comfortable week ahead there. Here we go towards Thursday, May 16th in the morning. Yep, a lot of more 50s and 60s over a broad region. And again, even if I'm not mentioning your exact location, you can see the overall gist and what the temperatures are on the map using the key. Upper Midwest, a lot more 70s Thursday in the afternoon, a lot more 80s down here in the south and southeast, and a lot of the 80s are going to be low to mid 80s for a lot of spots here as we head towards Wednesday, Thursday, Friday again. Here we go Friday morning. Look at that, 50s and 60s, you know, kind of the edge of the 50s and 60s being on out there into parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, and then as well as with the mountains there in California. What a surprise, right? Something we'll be seeing a lot this week. And then here we go towards Friday, a lot more 80s, even pushing a little bit further north now with some upper 70s trying to get on up there towards the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Nothing too huge, no huge warm-ups supporting major severe weather, no huge cool down, so really an overall mild week with some storm systems that are relatively tame other than some isolated to scattered severe weather. Now this kind of pattern not really expected to let up. Overall just a little bit warmer than average over a lot of the southern and eastern United States as we head during the 6 to 10 day range according to the Climate Prediction Center, which goes from the 18th of May to the 22nd. That same corridor for precipitation, yeah, we might have another one or two of those systems that kind of run and especially produce the heaviest rainfall through the southeastern and midwest United States, indicated by some of those heavier green areas from Nebraska to Wisconsin and through the southeastern corridor. That's a little bit to be determined. We'll talk about that in future videos and you'll get it as soon as I post. If you hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, really helps me out, helps you get the forecast. Thanks so much for watching this video. Everybody have a blessed start to the week.
One Nation Weather.